On my Area 51 line, you're on the air. Hello.
Welcome to the Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast, where what you've known as reality will be shattered by the truth. Krista and Brandi will lift the veil from your eyes, revealing what has either been hidden or denied you for eons.
How you doing?
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Hey, Krista looks really nice again this week.
She looks fantastic. That blonde.
Absolutely. Absolutely looks fantastic. I had to change the ticker. I had somebody else's ticker on there.
Oh,
so
you
I had
did
to change it.
Oh, you're able to do that. I see. Well, that's good.
Yeah, I can do a few things, but I don't have the fancy computers. Well, I do, but that's hooked up to this. I can't stream.
Yes.
I don't have any Wi-Fi. So, yeah, I mean, it's strange. I can do a few things, but it would take me a minute to figure out how to do it, without the computer, because I don't have the easy mouse click.
That is the key to the entire thing, the easy mouse click.
Right. I don't have that.
If you have to use your fingers and, oh, yeah.
I know, because you saw my finger in the beginning.
I did. Yeah, I did.
Well, there you go. See, I'm going to do it again. There we go.
Yes.
I mean, that's what happens.
Yeah, it is what happens. And I'm going to say hello, everybody, under Krista, because I can't access me on. See, I just said hello, everybody. That is me, good old BMR. So hello, everybody, because I cannot really chat unless I pretend to be the Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast, which is Krista's thing. So hello, everybody. I'm not doing the split screen thing because I'm inept. I just,
and I've got two different devices that I use so that to make it easier.
Well, I could use my phone, but my phone takes away from the stream.
Yeah.
It uses so much. Then my mom is probably watching Netflix and on her phone coloring. So that's like 4 things at once. No, I'm not, no, I'm not doing it.
Like, come on, Mom. It's 90 minutes. 90 minutes.
I do tell her she's into this Kingdom of something on Netflix. It's 6 different seasons, and she's on season 6, the finale, and she watched them all in like a week.
Yeah, you can't take that away from her.
No, I cannot.
She's on a roll.
No, she is on a roll. And,
yeah.
And it's funny because I typically don't watch anything. We always talk about this, documentaries I watch on Netflix or on YouTube a lot.
Right.
But yesterday, I didn't do much. I missed your show yesterday. I had a long day and your show has already started. So I'll watch the replay later because you had a great show with Brian and Ron, right? Ronald Murphy. Both at our conference, by the way, coming up in September 19th and 20th. And I found this thing called Untamed on Netflix. And I clicked it on at 10 o'clock at night yesterday, right after your show. I didn't even go on your show. I gave you a like, though. And
oh, well, that was nice.
I'll watch the replay because I love Ron and Brian, of course. Yeah, so I'll watch it later.
The two of them together are hilarious.
Yeah,
absolutely.
they're joined at the hip, those two guys.
Yeah.
So I watched this Untamed on Netflix, and I normally don't watch stuff. I just, not in the summer. Brandi, I started at 10 o'clock. I watched all 5. It was one season, 20 episodes. I got off at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my. That's like me in the Game of Thrones. See, I didn't get HBO to watch Game of Thrones. I waited until it came out on the DVD set, and then you'd buy like 3 seasons, in a box set.
Oh,
Did.
Oh wow.
That's what I did. And I would start and I would take a whole weekend and watch the whole, every season that came with it.
Well, I gotta say, because Monica always makes fun of me because when we always talk, because I watch your show once in a while, and sometimes when she's with us, I've never seen any movies that she's seen, and she always makes fun. Rob, what do? You haven't seen any movies. Now, I haven't seen the typical movies like Gremlins. I haven't seen all of these, the one with Michael Keaton, whatever that is. I don't see the basics. I watch this weird stuff, and it's like, man. So, but this Untamed that I watched last night for like 10 hours, or however, I don't know, 10 to 5. I was addicted. It was almost like I was,
Yeah, I can understand that. Like I said, I can understand. Once I get started on a series and the first couple episodes are good, yeah, I don't.
Yeah, Amy Creel, Amy, one of my pirate mateys. Animal Kingdom, yes, that's what it is, Amy.
She's a paranormal pirate.
She's a She is. She's a master of all the universes.
Just paranormal pirate. There she is.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's awesome. Paranormal Pirates. That's right. Paranormal Pirates. If you're a member of my channel and the Blondes and the Booze, you're a paranormal pirate.
Yes, you're paranormal pirates.
Yeah. So thanks for requesting my presence for this evening.
I did. I especially asked for you because, we did the show last Sunday night or Saturday night, and we like talking to each other.
Yeah, we do. Well, we do, and I talk to you the least. I talk to Krista I talk to her like all the time, and she's always on Tuesday. And you, with your schedule, now you're on Saturdays. I barely
talk to anybody.
No, I know you barely. I know that as a blanket statement. No one talks to Brandi too often, except on shows. And Brandi is on my Saturday show, but again, it's hit or miss. Which, by the way, everybody, I'm going to say that late nights on Saturday is always at 11. I'm doing the show. However, there's a little monkey wrench thrown into because Miss Brandi, Krista, and Monica. Well, Krista and Brandi are going to be at some jailhouse or something.
No, Glore Psychiatric Hospital.
Psychiatric hospital.
Yes.
And then
Monica, we're not checking in.
You're not checking. No, you're not checking in. So
we're not checking in. We're just gonna check out who already checked out.
Yeah. Yes. Right. So you two will be gone. Monica's vacationing with her husband at some river. So
yeah, that's a hard life.
Yeah, so I'm like, Sarah and I don't have my girls, but I'm not going to cancel it. So I'm doing a special encounter show. I've got 3 encounters lined up for Saturday night. So the show will go on. So it's a new LBL, werewolf, dogman encounter, a paranormal one. And the third one, I'm revisiting the little people that invaded that island in Lake Superior. So it'll be a pretty cool show.
Yeah, absolutely.
This will be a cool show too. So I'm glad that I'm on.
Yeah, but I'll be able to catch your show on Sunday when I'm driving home. So that's good news for me. That's driving music for me. Mm-hmm. Podcast.
That's the best thing. And you know what the great thing is? If you're traveling 4, 5, 6 hours in your vehicle, what's awesome is this. Many years ago, I would just I would make up songs, and I know that, these songs are going to take 2 hours. So it would cut 2 hours out of the drive instantly.
Right.
But now it's like I listen to podcasts if I have to drive a distance, which me, I don't drive distances hardly anyways. But when I do, if I listen to 2 Blondes and Booze podcast, that's 3 hours done already, and you're at your destination, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I'll have about 6.5 hours tomorrow, so it's going to be a little longer. I'm stopping in Richmond, Missouri, at Ray County, and I'm going to join up with everybody there, and then we're going to drive another hour or so to the location. So everybody's going to Ray County tonight, which I worked a very long day and I wouldn't, and then you drive 6.5 hours, then you got to be up all night. I wouldn't make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would I would be in a sad state of affairs. So I said, no.
Yes. And speaking of a sad state of affairs, when the summer is coming to an end, but the positive thing is, for me, the summer ends August 15th. We have our conference September 19th and 20th. And I was talking with our friend Doug from Monster Quest. All our banners are shipped to the museum that we can post and put out in the public when I get down there on Wednesday. So that's cool. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be one heck of a show.
Yeah. Yep. We got the half-inch wrench crew in chat tonight. That's awesome. Glad to see you two here.
All right.
They're coming to the conference as well.
Yes, it's awesome. There's a lot of great, we talk about it at nauseum. There's going to be 20 plus people there from all this phenomenon as speakers or special guests. We got party after. What's that?
That doesn't include us.
It doesn't include us, right?
No.
It does not.
No.
We downplay ourselves but no, we're going to be there,
That's right. We're going to be there. It's going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that. It's under 2 months away now. Under 2 months away.
I know. Whew. And you know what that means for me? Vacation.
Yeah, I'm kind of taking a vacation because I'm getting up. I'm gonna be on an airplane Wednesday morning, and I'm coming home Monday morning. So yeah, I'll be gone for like 5-6 days.
Yeah, you will. You absolutely will. I don't know exactly when I'm coming up or when I'm leaving. Yeah. We may do a stop at Emmaus. If we do that on the way back, well, it's just a little longer before I get home.
Yeah. So, but we're gonna have a lot of fun, and we get to always meet up with each other, which is always awesome, and hang out and do our thing. And so I'm looking forward to it.
Hi there. I've seen a lot of people. Hey, Judy, I see you out there. I haven't seen you in a minute. Glad to see everybody. Candy, hi. We've got our mods out there. Thank you for the job that you do. We appreciate you. It's fantastic.
It's fantastic. And thanks to everybody. And I'm not talking in chat because I don't want to pretend to be Krista. So hello, everybody. Thank you for coming on in. I type, I can say hello, and that's me right there. Hello.
Yeah. If you see something come up that says Blondes and Booze,
if you see
Paranormal Podcast,
that's me. That's me.
That's Rob. My name's in the front. Yeah, my name's in the front, so it's me.
Yours says Brandi.
Brandi, yes.
So anyways, I guess we've chit-chatted enough, I guess. I know we have a lot of stuff. You know how we're rolling tonight. What did you call this? Down the rabbit hole with BMR and Brandi. Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess you've got a good story for me.
I got a couple things I put together when I was called the other day. So I knew that, I put together, how I do bizarre news on Saturday. So I had a really cool one that I was going to present, but you guys are not going to be there. And I will say this, though. I did share this on my brunch show with Monica to get her take. But I know a lot of the people, we have different people during the various times.
Yes.
So I don't think it'd be a bad thing to share this again. It's a 2 or 3 minute read out of a magazine. But the thing about it, Randy was in the chat room, and it's funny because you guys do truth or not truth or tinfoil, but you do your show on Wednesday. It's called Paranormal
Show and Tell.
And Randy said, "Oh, Rob, man, that would have been a good one for paranormal show and tell." In the chat, he said that. I'm like, okay. So I said, well, you know what? I might as well share that on this show because I would like your take on this. Because I do have the picture.
Okay.
And I do have the 2 or 3 minute read on the magazine. I didn't rewrite it or nothing. And then I like your take. I got Monica's take. I gave my take. The audience gave their take. But I say, let's just do it on this one to get the party started here. And this is this was called a mystery troll, Brandi, captured on camera. And I do have the picture, but I'll go through the brief article. And it goes on to say, my name is Sally and I live in Sweden. And she says, it was a Sunday and my husband and I were out walking for a couple hours in the beautiful sunshine. It felt like the first real spring day in Marstad, Sweden, a suburb just north of Stockholm. The area we live in is full of ancient structures, grave mounds from the Iron and Bronze Age, old Viking forts, rune stones, and many other things. This day we decided to walk to what's left of an ancient fort up on a hill deep in the forest behind Stenninge Castle. My husband and I are photographers, and there's always time for a portrait, which I'm quite spoiled after 14 years together married. After checking out an abandoned old house near the road, I asked my husband to pose in the middle of the road for a shot, which he did. Later, after uploading it on Twitter, today now X, a follower of mine asked me what was standing by the side of the road, not far from me, not far from my husband. To my surprise, I found, in my opinion, a troll-like creature merged with nature, almost transparent. It looks like it's studying my husband, looking directly into the camera, slightly turned, and it was slightly turned in my direction as well. Yeah, I'm aware of pareidolia, and that might be it. It's very similar to the trolls of artist John Bauer, who I guess does renditions of trolls, I guess, but also like a hunching Bigfoot. Maybe my eyes just want to see what they want to see. But even if it's just a splendid case of pareidolia, it's also quite creepy and organic. No matter what it is, I find it to be quite magical. There's something with nature's spirits to me, at least I want to believe. On our way home, we also saw strange phenomena in the sky, which we thought was a UFO, this, that, and the other. But that's not the focal part of this story. It was a fun and cool walk. And yeah, what do you think to you folks on Twitter about this capture? So that's that. And I'm going to pull up what the image that this person put on Twitter. And I'd like to get your take on it. So, you remember the story, obviously. So here's the picture that was taken. I'm not going to say anything. You just kind of glance at it, Brando. And
yeah, I mean, I see what. Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
I see what's saying there. What she's seeing. I mean, it is, to me, that is definite pareidolia. But it's a really cool catch.
It's a cool catch, and I think pareidolia as well. The only thing that, here's what I see. I see the head and kind of hair, and I kind of see like the fleshy face at the very top. We're talking about in the tree, but the rest of the body looks like it is the tree. But then I did notice at the bottom, it seems like it's a little bit darker at the feet. There's two pronounced feet, it looks like to me.
Yeah.
But again, it could be anything. I don't think this is an actual troll or a Bigfoot or a elemental. I think it's a cool capture, but if I were to vote it as being real or paranormal, I would have to say no. But again, it blends in nicely, and I think that a lot of people have similar experiences like this when they talk about, a Bigfoot blending into the trees, this, that, and the other. But this to me seemed like it was mostly a tree and some pareidolia.
Yeah, okay, let me begin by saying,
yes,
you were magnificent when you started the story, because when you said Sally from Sweden went hiking on a Sunday, that sounded like some type of exercise for articulation, and you did it perfectly.
Oh,
and I was like, go, Rob, go.
Well, thank you.
I was like, dang. Oh my goodness. I mean, I can see where I can see. I mean, to me, it looks like pareidolia. But we have talked so many times about the Fae and how they can blend into the surroundings without you realizing they're in, they're there. Could this be a case of possibly a Fae blending in, but in like the middle of doing it? Like almost there, but didn't quite make it in time before the picture was snapped, or something like that. I mean, we talked about last night about Bigfoot possibly being part of the Fae, hence the, being able to disappear, and then you might find one footstep and then there's not another, it just disappears into thin air. All these things last night changed the way I thought about Bigfoot. That there is a lot of mystery still. I mean, some people think they've got Bigfoot figured out. I think we are so far from it that, we got to still keep looking.
We're on the same. You and I are on the same page. So is Brandi or Krista. And E-Tex and our friends, but it's never going to be figured out. That's why I love doing this, because the mystery is always going to be a mystery to me. I don't think there's going to be any disclosure. I mean, they might, they talk about UFO disclosure, with this such a waste of time, because all of that is, to me, is just nonsense. But, and I've been in UFOs and aliens, don't get me wrong, right?
Yes. Thank you, Kelly. And also thank you to Mickey from before. If I didn't say it, I wrote it in there, but thank you again, Mickey. Thank you, Kelly.
Kelly Sandiford is the pride of Canada, and she's an awesome supporter of all of our shows. Thanks, Kelly.
So, absolutely.
You know what this reminded me of, and I agree with you. Of course, you see an outline to an extent and the definition, but here's my thing. If you recall, I'm not going to tell the story, but if you recall, though, I did a story about a man that was lost in the woods.
Yes,
in a very familiar location.
Right.
And he was 20 years there. And Rob, he says, I don't know where I'm at. I'm lost. The river stream, it kind of was gone. I went down this new path that never should have been there in the first place. I went down it. And then the trees turned different. They went from pine to oak, or vice versa, whatever it was. And then he was lost. And then he saw a shadow in the distance from the tree line, and he thought he didn't know what it was. And this guy was not a Bigfoot enthusiast or anything. He was just a hiker, a camper. And then the thing that he said to me, which of course you remember, the trees started presenting faces from the base and the barrel of the bottom of the tree, right?
Right.
And these were 4 foot wide trees, of which were different because the trees where he remembers from his hiking area were no more than 2 foot wide. They were more like, I don't know what you would call those trees, but they were not humongous. And something told him to follow the faces. And we always brought up the thought, and maybe it's something I could always ask Ron at the conference about the elementals. And maybe it was the elementals that found this man's way home, because he made it back to his campsite with these strange faces that kept coming out of the trees. So when I even seen this in this magazine that we just talked about, it kind of reminded me in an odd way about that story. But as you and I agree, that was not an elemental, that was a pareidolia. But it just made my mind, it triggered my mind about that story when I saw that. So I was trying to put together, I'd love to see those captures from that man when he said the trees came to life,
Right. I have kind of dove in at one time or another on these supposed moving trees.
Okay.
Have you seen any of those videos?
No, I have not.
You've got to see them. You've got to see them, because it's things like these that drive me insane, because you'll see the tree moving, but you won't see the bottom of the tree. You won't see it moving through the dirt. You'll see it like there'll be something obstructing the view, and then you'll see the tree moving. And I'm kind of like, how is that evidence of a tree moving if you can't see the whole tree?
It seems to me, right when you said that, I would look toward the base of the tree and see if the ground was being disturbed as it's traveling,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. But they don't show you that. Um, but I mean, there are trees that do move. I mean, it's not a gigantic, huge move, but they will migrate. They'll migrate towards water or soil nutrients or things like that, and they will move. It's a scientific fact. Don't ask me, and I can't. I think it's some type of palm, if I'm not mistaken. I could be, but it's been a long time ago. But I mean, when you said that story about trees coming alive, I mean, I'm like, wouldn't that be just scary? Because not only are you dealing with other things, you're looking for unknown creatures and things like that, and then all of a sudden the trees come alive around you. I've
Yeah.
seen so many movies where like the tree limbs come down and grab a hold of somebody or
Oh boy,
something.
oh geez, that reminds me of the Evil Dead. The
Yeah,
girl,
there
you
you go.
remember that
Perfect
movie?
example.
Oh God. And we
Right.
know that's we can't, it's X-rated, kind of.
It's terrible.
Poor girl. Yeah.
It's terrible. It's not a perfect
X-rated.
example for young people, but
No, it's not. But
it's a
there was
horror. It's horrible.
it's a
Just
horrible
tell it.
movie. It's
Yeah.
totally off. It's a totally different subject matter from what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Um,
you roll into that and go, oh, wait, I am totally watching the wrong movie here.
no, yeah, you are. And but I seen a movie. I don't know if you've seen this, and I don't know the name of it, Brandy. Trees actually came alive. It was a movie. It was not a documentary. It was a movie, make believe. But the
Mhm.
trees were actually alive, and they were fighting a battle for this young warrior. And the trees came to his aid and helped
Wasn't
defuse.
that like Lord of the Rings had the same type of deal?
That might have
It's,
been it. Maybe it was.
yeah, I remember that now, and I thought that was so cool.
Oh, I thought it was fantastic, and I think it might have been the Lord of the Rings. I will tell you what.
Yeah.
Somebody told me it might have been Monica, since she always says, "Rob, you suck. You don't see no movies." I might have watched that on her recommendation last year, and I think it was like, or the Hobbit or the Lord of the Rings,
Yeah. I mean, you
something
first
like.
have got to start with the original Hobbit, and then,
They're all jumbled together for me. But
right.
it was the forest became alive, and the trees were actually, and they had the faces, and
Yeah.
they spoke.
Yeah.
But when they went on the ground, they moved on the ground. You could see the move. You could see the dirt being up shoveled, or whatever you want to call the word. I don't know what it is. And boom, and they fought a battle.
Yeah.
And I might even have seen that in the Dumb Noah's Ark movie too. I think that was similar too. But anyway, that's what
Yeah.
I think when I tell that story about the man, that the images in the forest, allegedly a true story anyways, right, led him back to his campground. So
Hmm. Yeah. The everybody is saying the two towers in Lord of the Rings.
okay.
That is exactly it. That is exactly it. I couldn't remember what part of it was, or what movie it was, but I knew it was Lord of the Rings, which I am in love with that stuff. I love those types of movies. And especially when I'm reading books and things like that for my own personal enjoyment, I always make sure that it has nothing to about the world we live in today. I don't read true crime. I don't do any of that.
Yeah.
I just make sure that when I'm reading a book, I'm envisioning, just the whole fantasy type world and things like that. So, I mean, that's the types of books that I love, and that's how I got started on Lord of the Rings. Is I started with the book,
Yeah,
the very first one, The
I
Hobbit.
probably I love reading books. I haven't read a book, I'll be honest with you. I've said this many times. People on my shows have sent me books. I've bought in books. I
Mhm.
got stacked over there a whole bunch. I used to be an avid reader when I was years ago, but now I just don't read. But that's really for me. That's what led me to watching movies. I read the Jurassic Park, Michael Crichton,
Oh,
well before the movie came out. I said, "Man,
right.
this would be a great movie." And
I
a
would
few
too.
years later, it came out. But one
Yeah.
last thing I did want to say about the forest, I always try to equate it this way now. We have the internet, what we're doing right now, so on and
Hmm.
so forth, AI. I think that the forest, and maybe not the forest, maybe just the woods in your yard, I think it's a natural internet feed. Because if you think about it, you have all of these roots, all these branches, everything underneath the ground connecting these trees. They're all connected to each other. And I
Hmm.
think all the trees of the forest, I think they communicate with each other. And I do think they communicate with Mother Nature as well. I think it is the natural internet of the world.
Yeah.
I don't know if that sounds crazy to you, but I
No,
think I
it
think it
doesn't.
is.
If you are like an earthy person,
Yeah.
um, and I know if you are one, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But do you ever feel bad when you see like a whole part of a forest cut down
Oh,
and
yeah,
you
it's
actually
terrible.
feel sick?
I do.
I
No,
do. I mean, I
do it.
feel absolutely sick when I see that happen. So, I mean, I think it can affect us too. They came and okay, I live in a rural area and they have to keep the trees trimmed away from the power lines. But when they do this, they only do it every 5 to 6 years. So they trim the trees back really far in the yard. So my trees look lopsided, but it's almost like it makes you feel like, ew, like God, that it kind of hurts seeing that. It's just like that's not the way it should be. That's not natural. Because those my trees, the trees that I have in the front yard, I have 3 large trees, and they were there well before those power lines.
Yeah, it's so interesting that you say that, and I'm glad you feel that way. I mean, in a
Mhm.
sense, because where I live, we have very tall trees, and where I live, my subdivision is kind of antiquated. We still have telephone poles, and we have power lines that have been here for 50 years that they always
Mhm.
have to replace. That's one of my bitches about my internet, because when I lose it, it's because of the lines, right? We don't have it
Right.
underground. We don't have fiber optics.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
There was this tree 3 blocks up the road from me, Brandy. It was a tunnel of beautiful trees. When you're driving on the road, when you got into it for maybe a quarter mile, you were in a tunnel of trees, beautiful green trees, shaded out. And for a moment, if you stopped and got out of your vehicle and just sat there, you would think you were literally in some emerald forest, some enchanted
Wow.
forest. But it's
Mhm.
literally on my city block. They were going through the power lines, Brandy.
Oh no.
City came out, our electric company, in conjunction with the city, and these trees were shaped beautifully. Oh, beautiful shapes. You can't draw a better picture.
Right.
Power lines. They took these beautiful trees and they wedged V's right in the center. And now the trees are split. On the left, is a tree. On the right is a tree. In the middle, it's gone. It looks
Oh, that's
stupid.
horrible.
It looks like a
That's
piece of
horrible.
pizza. It looks like a pizza, and you take out the 2 top pieces, and you have that empty space. That's what it looks like. It is terrible.
Yeah,
And
that's
that
kind of
was
like what they did to my trees. They just cut them straight down.
uh, yeah, I and like you, I seen that and I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, why is this like this? I'm looking, what's going on? Then I seen the power equipment, and then I went back home, and 3 hours, 4 hours later, I go walking down the block, and The sun shines on the pavement. The trees look like a botch job, like a hack job.
Yeah.
And it was like the beauty turned into, well, it looked terrible.
Right. Well, I am definitely not a pavement and traffic kind of gal.
Yeah.
I, de-
No.
I am the farthest thing from it. I would rather be out in the middle of nowhere versus something like that.
Yeah.
I don't have to have a lot of trees, but I have to have a lot of nature. Does that make any sense to anyone?
I need nature surrounding me because I removed 2 trees in my yard because I like in the summertime. I don't like to sit outside in the summer in the shade. I want to have my sun beating down on my yard, and on me if I'm hanging out in the sun.
Mhm.
But I do want them in the background. But I do want my whole yard shaded. I don't want that, even though it gets hot here, like you guys.
Yeah.
It's still like I like the sun because it's healthy and it's depending, how long you're out there, of course.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, we all know that we all need our dose of vitamin D.
Vitamin D, yeah.
That you can't get from milk. You can't get it from a pill.
No,
you have to actually get it from the sun.
Yeah, you gotta get it from the sun.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody is so lethargic in the winter, because even if you go outside, there's no sun. At least where I live.
I kind of think about that sometimes about all this stuff that they're chopping down. Of course, I mean, with cryptids and, just basic wildlife, period. Where are these things going? Well, they're ending up in the neighborhoods is what's happening. But I have a feeling that someday they're going to start going in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to start ripping up the roads again. They're going to start tearing the houses down. They're going to start replacing nature. I think that a lot of what's happening with the weather is because of what we've done to the earth thus far.
I think so.
We're draining it of its natural resources. And I also believe that's why we're seeing a lot more of these cryptids is because the natural resources that we used to have where they could hide so well.
Yes.
It's not available to them as much as it is or it used to be. But I do have a feeling that, long past when we're gone, I have a feeling they're going to go in reverse.
I think so too. I think everything goes in cycles, and I think it's going to reverse itself. I'm on point with you on that. And the also thing that you made mention of, which I agree with, is I've had so many stories that I've gotten over the years where it just seems too frequently, Brandi, that every time when a logging firm moves in and they just boom, take everything down, guess what? You have more Sasquatch or Dogman or whatever roaming, getting scared and running through people's yards because they're being literally extracted.
They have nowhere to go.
They have nowhere to go.
No, they don't have nowhere to go but in your backyard. They're trying to escape whatever's out there.
And they're probably stressed and they're trying to
and there's your neighborhood smack dab right in the middle of it.
There you go. Yes, absolutely.
And I don't know if we would consider like a Bigfoot a migrator or just a kind of a travel where the food is. I think they make their rounds, as once they start depleting a food source in one area, they just kind of move on to the next and they kind of circle back around. I mean, I don't think they migrate like geese. I think that they stay in a general area, but that general area is kind of large. And it may have to be getting larger, because they're going to have to travel farther for their food sources.
I agree with that. I don't think they necessarily migrate either. I think they stay in the one. I mean, the North America is so expansive. They're hanging out within 100 miles of a dedicated area. I think they hang out. When the food runs out, maybe they migrate, but I don't think they go south for the winter. I think
I don't think so. I think they just move for the food and then they let it replenish. So it might take them some time to make this loop backwards, and they have to wait for that food to replenish. And then, they just work their way back around. I honestly think that a lot of people have said that they have repeat visits from the same, Sasquatch. They have the same one show up and they can identify it. It's the same exact one, hair color or markings or whatever they're seeing, they're identifying the same one continually. So like I said, when the food source moves out or they need better shelter or something, I think they do move around, but I don't think they in like I said, in our terms, moving around would probably be in a mile in each direction. That's how
Well,
far we
yeah.
move.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
but
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
but for a Sasquatch, you could think 100, 150, even 200 miles or
Oh,
so.
yeah. This is
Um,
probably nothing.
yeah, which is nothing to them.
For us,
So,
a 1 mile hike in the woods through rough terrain is like an all day event.
right,
I mean,
right.
unless you're on the trail, which
Yeah, yeah. I think they have a definite pattern that they go through. But I do believe they move around, but it's always not far, relatively speaking, for a Sasquatch. It's not that far.
I think you're right. I think you're right. We're on the same page with that, and being on the same page, I have to step away for a second, Brandy, for just a second. For something, okay.
Okay. Okay.
But however, though, if you want to flip the page a little bit, I was saving this story for my Halloween show. Yes, I'm already planning Halloween. But
All right.
since I was asked to join you tonight, I think I want to share a ghost story that you will like. That
I love ghost
we can
stories.
break down. So
Absolutely.
I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really know about anyone else, but I love a good ghost story. I've never been a big fan of like horror movies or anything like that, but you give me a good ghost story, I'm all in for it. I don't know about anybody else out there. I just love them. Of course, again, um I love reading Stephen King. So I mean, I'd rather read a book than watch a movie, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if anybody else feels that way out there, but I sure do. I haven't read any books lately because I started reading on like a Kindle thing, and again, screen protectors and everything else, and it still gives me headaches. So I'm gonna have to go to back to good old books. And I changed over to Kindle and stuff like that because it was cheaper to buy the book that way versus buying the hardback book or even just the paperback. Those are getting super expensive now. So I kind of have to, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to go back to books, y'all. That's okay though. I've got like bookcases full of books that I'm gonna go back and read. My oldest daughter, she is also an avid reader. She's read a lot of things. She loves to do that too. So I guess that kind of rubbed off on her. Now my youngest daughter, no way. My son, no way. They don't read books for fun. They only read them if they've got to. And I'm like, well, that's up to you. You know, is anybody else out there an avid reader that would prefer books to Kindle or any type of thing like that? Because I can't afford all the books that I like to read. And then we were talking about listening to podcasts on long drives. Well, I'm an audiobook queen. I love those too. It helps me keep occupied because I travel alone a lot to a lot of these conferences and things. And it is, my drives are from, usually from 6 to 8 hours or better, depending on where I'm going. And it's usually alone, but I don't mind driving anywhere. It was just, I need to have, the noise, and it's better if it's something that is really entertaining. I get tired of music. You turn on a radio station, you might like one song and then they play 10 you don't like or don't even know. I hate those. But I will take a good ghost story over anything.
Yeah, I caught some that I had to do some for Mama.
Oh yeah.
Mama. And so I was thinking, because a lot of people in the chat room know me and follow me, and they follow all of us. And Saturday night, as you know, it's gonna be good old BMR by himself. So the late show's gonna go on Saturday night, And I've got a line. I got a lineup to. I'm telling a bunch of. It's gonna be story time with BMR for the late show, and I'll be doing some werewolf encounter, some little people invasions. So it's gonna be a packed show tomorrow for me, for everybody. So I was thinking, I don't want to do that today. Putting this show together. So I have archives of all the emails I get. I've got werewolf and dogman. I got alien and UFO, and I've got paranormal and ghosts. And the paranormal and ghosts I usually do for Halloween. But I decided, in the spirit of, I just thought, let's do something spooky. I decided to share this on your channel, which I was going to save for mine, but I'm going to not be greedy and tell this story, which I find to be very cool. And if you don't mind, I am going to get on with it.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm gonna black out for a second. I gotta run in there, but
Yeah,
I'm
do
here.
what you gotta do.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you can hear it.
Go ahead.
So for everybody listening, I got this email maybe 8 months ago, and I archived it for Halloween. But again, I'm gonna do it on today's show because I found this story be cool, and so I just kind of read it over today before the show and kind of memorized it like I like to do because I don't like reading stuff, you guys. I like to kind of tell it from memory, and I do have cliff notes, of course. So I'm just gonna get on with this. So this guy says to me in this email, he says, "Hey, Rob, my name is Franklin, and my wife Terry and we bought an older style New England cottage in the year of 2021," as he goes on. He says they both contracted a company to do some remodeling in this cottage home. And I believe it was in off of the Atlantic Ocean in one of the New England states. I think maybe it was Boston. So as the story unfolds, this guy Franklin is telling me in this email that when the workers started upon doing the renovations, beneath the floorboards of the lower level, they found a very fragmented skeleton of which appeared to be human. So the workers, they brought it to Franklin and Terry's attention, what they found doing the remodeling. And when upon Terry and Franklin looking at this finding in the floorboards during the remodeling, Terry and Franklin were very disturbed at this finding from the contractors. So Franklin, of course, the husband, he went about and started doing some research on the property. And he was looking up past owners, different titles, and just went way back. He even went way back because since this was in New England, everybody, he even went way back to the era where witches were burnt, with the Salem massacre, right? But he came up empty. Rob, I came up empty. I can't find any evidence that supports what we found with this human skeleton. So during all this, several of the contracted workers, they were very spooked, and they left the job site. And so once again, though, Franklin, the wife Terry, with the contractors said, "Look, we want to continue on with this project." He goes on to say, "Rob, Terry and I saved up most of our life savings to build our dream home together. They were married like maybe 20 years, and every penny they made, they pinched. They wanted this New England home off the Atlantic Ocean." So, long story, I'm going to cut out some of the details about this, but the work was completed about 6 months later. Okay. So, Franklin and his wife, 6 months later, of course, as I mentioned, they said they started seeing like peculiar things in their home, shadowy type things, not ghostly, but shadows. They noticed that different objects that they swore they had in one location was moved to another. And it was just a weird vibe that they were getting. And then several months later, it got even a little more pronounced where they were thinking that they heard voices in their home, like distressed voices under distress, a singular voice, I'll add. Okay. So as the story goes on, he goes on to say, well, Rob, late one night, this ghostly image appeared just outside of their fireplace. The fireplace fire was stoking, at a low roar, and they heard like kind of in an audible type voice from the fireplace, from this image. It said to take the bones to the ocean to be set free. So if we back up a little bit, the contractors found these bones in the floorboards during remodeling. They're on the ocean. Weird things start to happen 6 months after the completion. Now they're at their fireplace and they have this audible whisper, set the bones free. So he goes, you see, Rob, the contractors asked us early on, though, what to do with the bones, with the skeleton when they found it during the early times during the construction, right? And, Franklin and Terry are like, boy, I don't know what to do. Yeah, you found bones in our place. You were doing some remodeling. So you know what? The couple told the contractors to put the bones back beneath the floorboards and continue on to cover them up. Don't know if this is a good idea. I don't know if it's a bad idea. Again, on with the story. Keep them in their place, the husband and wife told the contractors. So this dude, Franklin, goes on to say that they're standing in their living room now in the home weeks later, and again, they're standing there frozen. And again, they're staring into the flickering of their fireplace. And then they see emanating from the fireplace again as an outline, hazy figures. And it's now hovering now above the fireplace. Franklin goes on to say, hey, Rob, all of a sudden the air in the home felt heavy. What we were breathing inside our own home, it felt like a damp, humid day, like in a 95-degree day with an intense humidity. It was hard to breathe. Their lungs are dampened, and him and the wife are gasping for air. And the voice again echoes. He says, Rob, this time it pleads to them. Please, it says, as he's telling me, the ocean remembers. And it also said the tide will carry me home. So he goes on again, Rob, I don't get it. He says it took days for Franklin and his wife to work up the courage to return, get to the crawl space beneath the floorboards. They had to actually, because this guy Franklin wasn't handy, he went back to the original contractor and said, look, you remember what we found in the home? The bones? He goes, I need you to do me a favor. We need you to unearth that. We need you to break up the section of the house in the lower level. We need to extract these bones. The contractor is like, are you kidding me? He did not agree at first. And then Franklin and the wife said, look, we'll pay you X amount of dollars. Please, we can't get into this. We think this has to be done. Contractor agreed because I guess they offered him a ton of money. Contractor comes and unearths this skeleton. So Franklin says that he gathers the fragmented remains and he puts them in an old leather satchel or some sort of book carrying bag or something like that, and he places everything together in this this baggage or whatever. And he says during this entire process, he doesn't speak anything or say anything. His wife Terry is with him as he's extracting the remnants. The contractor already fled the scene. Just he got his money, he left. He says, all I remember is as I'm getting the bones, my wife Terry lit a candle and she was whispering something which he never asked his wife, but she was just saying a prayer. And again, Franklin just let her do her business and say whatever this prayer was, and that was that. So they gather the contents of the bones, they put it in this satchel, this bag, whatever. Excuse me, guys. So right before the sunrise the next day, they walked down to the ocean, which was maybe a mile walk from their home. And he says he remembers the Atlantic Ocean, the breeze was cold, this, that, and the other, and he had the satchel. And he got to the edge of the surf as the tide is coming in, the waves are rolling in, and he takes his bag and he tosses it into the surf. So when the waves went back out to the ocean, it would carry it on out. So he did that, and they watched his satchel kind of dissipate and go out back into the ocean. He says, Rob, the one thing, though, about this is when I carry the satchel to the ocean, he says that the bones in the bag seem to grow heavier inside of this satchel. But he says, Rob, it was weird because when I say they grew heavier, they didn't grow physically heavier, if that makes sense. But he says that emotionally, the emotions felt heavy, and he could not place this. He said it was kind of like this bone. The bones were clinging on to something in the past, but they were looking forward to the present time right now, as these bones know they're being discarded away into the ocean, which was made mention audibly at the fireplace. So Franklin and Terry stepped forward, and again they released it into the waves, and the waves took the bag. He says, Rob, as I made mention about the air being very cold that day on the Atlantic Ocean, he says, all of a sudden, man, the air changed. He says they could smell, their senses became heightened from the salt. They could breathe in the salt more than they've ever had in their life before. And it seems like they could just see more brilliantly. That's what he's saying to me. And then it happened right at the crest of the waves as his satchel was being cast off into the ocean. That ghostly figure appears again from the ocean, standing there, the same one from the fireplace. He said it stood tall against the horizon as the sun is rising. He says it had a translucent, almost peaceful look about itself. And he says his apparition, in a strange way, it seemed like it bowed to him and his wife. And then it just disappeared with the waves and the rest of the satchel out into the ocean. He says, Rob, from that day forward, the shadows in the cottage, it disappeared. The objects being moved around disappeared. There are no more cries in the dark. The fireplace was roaring as normal as it should. So Franklin thinks that what happened was that was a restless soul. Those bones buried in the basement for how long it was were released and finally found its way home, according to this guy. And Brandi, I got to tell you, I've done some cool stories before. That is kind of cool, creepy. It has all the elements of somebody being helped versus a terrorizing, horrific story.
Right.
You know?
Right. It does. I mean, when you first started telling it, and I got a little, I already covered my face because I already knew what was going to happen.
Okay.
You know, when you do any building, construction, renovating, remodeling, whatever, once that starts going on, you know that if you find something like that, you're going to be in for it.
Yes,
You
right.
gotta know,
Yeah, you have
you
to
know,
know.
and I mean, why they just left it in there.
Yeah, see, that's in this whole story. I don't want to cut you off, but that was where I was perplexed, just like you. Why in the hell you found the contractors unearthed these bones, a skeleton of a human being, and why do you want me to do with them? Which, I mean, yeah, but Brandi, okay, I'm gonna tell you damn well straight. If that happened to me, I say, no, get them out of here. Don't put
Okay.
them back in my property. I'm
Yeah.
not. Well, I don't. What would you do? Put
Well,
it
I'm going to
back?
play the devil's advocate for just a moment.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good.
They're
Do that.
building their dream home.
Yeah.
Okay. So if they unearth these things and they called somebody and say, hey, we found a body,
Yeah.
guess what? Investigation starts. That
Yeah.
may require more excavation. That will put their whole building behind. They will be, still out of their home for who knows how long and how much they will have to excavate or tear down what they've already built to look to see if there's any more bodies within that spot. I get what they're saying, but and as bad as that sounds,
Right.
I mean, uh, they want to move in. I get it, but I would have still removed the body. I still would have had that forethought, not even hearing the spirit. Go put it in the salt water. Go put it in the salt water.
Well, I'm assuming these people knew nothing of the paranormal, though. They're not like you. They probably were just an average Joe that came across, skeletal remains. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, but that's me. I'll be like, oh, salt. Oh, we need some salt. There's no salt water. Let's go. And that would be me. But I would also be scared of the fact that if I find one body, how many others are under there, and I would need to know that first before I built my house on it. Um, we've all seen Carol Ann. Don't go in the light.
Yeah,
that,
Well, I mean, you raise great points. I'm just thinking back if that was me building a house, I'm having it totally remodeled, and if my contractors find a set of bones from an alleged body, right? Well, we assume it was human. You said.
yeah, yeah,
I'm with you though. I would be like, now I don't know the extent of the excavation, the remodeling. Did they tear out the entire lower level? I would have been like, even if I was not a paranormal dude, I'd been like, why don't you just see if there's more?
yeah.
Is this a
Just
graveyard
yeah.
from the Salem witch trials, perhaps?
Well, yeah.
This is where this was.
Can you imagine? Okay, so we've all seen the movie Poltergeist with Carol Ann, but don't you remember
Yeah.
the part where it was raining so hard and outside, and then all these bodies started popping up around the pool that they
Well,
were trying to,
well,
no,
Brandi,
abs-
I'm gonna pull a Monica on you, and she would say, "You've never seen Poltergeist." Brandi,
oh,
my answer is yes. I've never seen Poltergeist.
you need to see that one.
I'm sorry, I have not.
It is a classic. You need to see that.
Okay.
You need to see it. You need to.
I guess I do, man. I'm sure I do. I'm sure I would like it.
Yeah, it is. It's again. I was talking while you were gone doing your little thing, but I love
Yeah.
a good ghost story. To me, that's a fabulous ghost story, and I love that. I mean,
Oh,
it's stuck with me for life. I can still see that movie
yeah.
in my head just talking about it. I'm sure everybody else out there has seen it, Rob.
Well, Freaky, I know Freaky's on like every show and goes, Rob, you've missed on so many great movies. Watch with the lights
With
on.
the lights on.
Freaky knows me. Yeah, I'm bad. I'm just really bad.
Yeah, if you love a good ghost story, I mean, there are some jump scares in it a little bit,
Well,
but
hey,
it's
listen, I'm not a
really
baby. I'm not scared. The only movies that scared me was the Linda Blair movie, which I finally watched during the daytime at 12 in the afternoon last year.
Yeah, that still scares me. I don't want to see it. And my first mistake was again reading the book
Oh yeah.
first, which was even more terrifying than the movie.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Now, I probably would read the book over watch the movie again because I finally did.
Right.
So I finally did watch Linda Blair in the daytime and with the priest and all that mumbo jumbo. And yeah, that was. See, the reason why I've told you this before, and people have heard me say this many times, I believe that to be. I believe that stuff to it happen. I believe that does happen. That's to me not fake. Whether the movie is fake or not, I don't know, but that happens.
Yeah.
You know, people get possessed by demons. That goes on. I believe that it's fact. And I
And
don't
it
talk,
still goes on.
and I don't talk facts. I'm not a fact guy, but I think that's an absolute truth.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm. It still goes on.
which scares you.
And yes, the Catholic Church does still sanction
Yeah.
exorcisms.
Yeah.
You just don't know about them anymore.
No, they can't do that. And they're not. Can you imagine on today's social media about it just would blow up and be a nightmare.
Well, yeah, I mean, they learned their lesson. They
Yeah.
learned their lesson.
Yeah.
Especially because of the movie The Exorcist and how that blew up and how, sensationalized that got. So they kind of learned their lesson on that to be a little bit more discreet. So, but yeah, they're still happening, and you can still find documentaries on them, even on YouTube.
Oh yeah, no,
Some of them, I'm like, I don't even, I have no idea what they're doing. It's supposed to be an exorcism. No, I don't know what they're doing with that.
So do you like those documentaries on exorcisms? Some of them, and some you take with a grain of salt.
Some of them I do take with a grain of salt because I think that they may be not possessed, that they just film this just to, I guess for clickbait or something.
I will. I've said this many times when we talk about this subject, and you've probably heard me say this. I'm gonna have to send you because I have it stored somewhere. And the only one I always listen to, which doesn't scare me, but it doesn't scare me, but it's creepy. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I've said this many times. Many people have heard me say this. The Art Bell tapes with Father Malachi Martin. There's 7 of them, a 7-part series, and he's a Roman Catholic priest, and he's an exorcist. He's long past. He died like 7, 8 years ago. He was an exorcist in Peru, all over the country, and he finally made it to New York City, Manhattan, and had an office in the Exorcisms in New York City. And it's the greatest interview with Art Bell and this father, this priest, this exorcist that I've ever heard in my life. And it gives me the chills, but it doesn't scare me because it's so real. It's so surreal. It's like, yeah, I can see what this guy's talking about. I'll have to send it to you one day because you would enjoy it. You would just
I would love that stuff. See, my thing is I love hearing about the stories before the exorcism happens.
Yeah,
I want to see what led them up to say, hey, this case needs an exorcism.
And this is what this father says. He doesn't get into what he did first. He gets into family contacting him, tells him the story. Then he tells the story to Art Bell about what it was and what led him to help out this family, because he would get literally thousands, hundreds of thousands throughout his lifetime. But he only chose a certain few.
Right.
He had to determine what was fluff, what was serious, and what was, borderline, right? So for him, that was his hardest thing because he didn't want to turn down anybody. Just like I'll never turn down a story. Well, this father, Malachi Martin, would not turn down a person in need. And he goes, the one time he did I remember this on the show, the one time that he turned down a person that was in need of his services, that person, well, they're no longer with us,
right?
Because of, and he felt that in his heart that if he could have helped that person, they might still be here. So then he
you know,
started
and that's got to be difficult.
it's got to
It's
be
gotta be very
extremely
difficult.
difficult, Randy. Extremely
Yeah.
difficult.
Because you have to sift through all of that information on each case.
Yes.
And it takes months, if not years, to
Yes.
get the approval to do it anyway. But people think, hey, I'm just going to call the church. I'm going to get an exorcism tomorrow. That's not how it works. Like I said, it goes on. The investigation goes on for months and sometimes years before they make a determination on what's happening. Except if they have an extreme case where they look at it and go, hey, yeah, okay, let's do that now. But I mean, hey, we make mistakes. We're human. And, I mean, you're going to pass that one person that you're thinking, well, this is not something that they would benefit from, that I don't think that we're dealing with a demonic entity here.
Yeah, right.
I think we're dealing with possibly more mental issues.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And I like Two Shadows' comment. Not all exorcists are dealing with demons. Some are spirits that have just taken over, which, again, I can see that because I don't think everything is demonic either, right? I mean,
yeah, but
if you have a bunch of spirits roaming your house or freaking you out, ghosts. I mean, like, I'm just talking in general here.
Yeah,
and you kind of want to excise them out of your house. I mean, I would want to be bombarded daily.
Well, I think we're using exorcism kind of wrong a little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit. I mean, when we speak of exorcism, we are speaking of most generally a demonic entity.
Yes.
When we speak of attachments, then we're speaking of just the nasties.
The nasties.
And they can make your life a living hell just as much.
Oh yeah, no. Hey, I tell you what. I could, if I had a friendly ghost, apparition, spirit in my house that I knew and I felt safe with, I will tell you, I would not be comfortable, Brandi. I would not want to deal with it every day. It was a not everyday thing. If it was like once or every 3 months, I see the ghost. Okay, hi, how you doing? But if it was if it wanted to be my friend every day, and I'm not sounding like a bad guy, Brandi, I'm not. I mean, you might be different than me, but I just would not want to deal with it on a daily basis because I got other things going on to deal with Casper in the corner.
Yeah. Do I want them? Do I want them in my home? No, I don't. But I'm not. I'm not scared of them either.
No, yeah. No, I got
it's kind of like the boundary thing. And they were crossing the boundaries there for a little while. They were.
They were. And then you have the friendly one of, I think you always talk about in the garage, and that's your nephew.
I would like to say that. Now, we don't know. We have
okay, right.
We don't have anything, no proof to say it was.
Yeah.
But the mannerisms that it used.
Yes.
And were of my nephew, what he would kind of do. But that's not saying anything. And I have to take the other side to that coin now, because what if it's something that just kind of observed him while he was alive in my home?
We talk. All the things we talk about. That's again. Yes. You just don't know.
No.
So you're always on the fence. You always have to have your guard up.
I always have my guard up. Yes. Now, I don't have anything bad in my home. I don't have anything like that.
Right.
And I never had something so bad, where I'm like, geez, oh, Pete. But on occasion, like, an episode I just had a couple months ago, it didn't belong here. And I didn't want it here. Not that it was mean or nasty or whatever. It's just, no. This is my space. You're going to have to go back to your space. This is my space. And so, you kind of have to get a little tough then. Some people choose to just cleanse the whole home and not have anything in their home. But see, I personally, I've dealt with this my whole life. So they kind of just follow me around. They find me wherever I am. I could be anywhere from the grocery store to a hotel room to driving down the road.
Yeah.
And I'm going to find them.
So you
So,
think you can, if you move to California,
oh, yeah.
you would have ghosts or
Oh,
spirits?
oh yeah. Absolutely. Well, I lived in California as a little girl with my family. We lived there for a couple of years. And yeah, I was seeing it then.
Mm.
It makes no difference where you are. Ghosts are everywhere. They're all
So
around.
would other people see them if they hung out with you? Let's say, just hypothetical, if you're vacationing in Michigan and you came over for 5 days here and we hung out,
Uh-huh.
would I have any interaction? Would you bring them into here? You think I would see something? You think, or maybe, or you don't know?
When I this is kind of a toughie because when I go over to somebody's house that kind of like does not do the ghost thing, that doesn't do
Oh,
all that kind of stuff. I'm
yeah,
just kind of like that's the when I'm firm. It's kind of like when I leave a location and say, "Hey,
yeah,
you got to stay here." It's kind of like, "Hey, you got to stay home. You can't come with me." Blah blah blah, all that kind of good stuff. So it's like making, putting my foot down and saying, "No, you're not coming on this trip." But I mean, Krista can attest to it. Have I had these things follow me from state to state?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
Yes. And have they bothered me when I go out of state? It's kind of funny. No, they bother everybody else.
Mm.
So it's that you can. There's past episodes of Krista and I discussing it where we had gone to Michigan, scared the other lady we were with to death because Krista and her shared a room, scared her to death. She was going to come sleep with me. I had the best
Are
sleep
you
I had in
kidding me?
weeks. It was quiet, the best sleep I'd had in weeks. But I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, that final night when I got home and I went to bed, guess what? That voice was right in my ears going,
Yeah.
Brandi. And I'm like, I'm home. Heck,
You know, yeah. So here's what I'm hopeful for. Kind of not off subject, but this is what I like. I've seen ghosts my whole life and stuff. They've kind of dwindled down quite for a while. In fact, I did the shadow people back when I was married in my early 30s. And I'll be honest with you, I don't recall. I've got other weird stuff go on, as you know, but not really ghosts. So
mhm.
I'm thinking, because I'm kind of excited to sing at the haunted ranch.
Yes.
I'm hoping that I really do. I'm open-minded about it. I'm hoping that a couple things. One, I have an experience, whether it's in the ranch or at the museum or on the property. And I'm also, secondly, looking forward to seeing something because I think that I'm going to do that God's helmet thing.
I've told you before, I don't recommend that.
I know you don't recommend it, and I got it.
No,
I
don't.
I put it under advisement. I got
Okay.
that stored away. But the ghost, okay, let's remove that part of it. I'm really hoping to see something because I'm not going to sleep at all during this whole event. I'm going to be up.
I would love to investigate with you. Absolutely,
Yeah,
100%.
we got to check some stuff out.
Like I said, and I explain it all the time. My light bulb is on when I'm
Yeah.
investigating. It is on, and it's like I will normally get something in a haunted location. Like I said, ghosts are everywhere. You just gotta open your eyes to them.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk privately about the God's helmet things. I'm still confused with you and Krista and all that and everybody else.
I don't recommend that for you, but I do know this, that since the pandemic started and a lot of us spent a lot of time at home, and kind of like locked in our houses, a lot of people have noticed things they've never noticed before in their homes. Like they started seeing shadows. They started hearing noises that weren't associated to the house. Because they had more time to see these things, that they're with them one-on-one. And I think since then that the paranormal community is growing to a point that they're curious and trying to figure this stuff out. I've heard a lot of people saying, "Well, I didn't believe it until I had to stay at home, and next thing you know, I started hearing knocking in the back bedroom or things like that, and seeing like shadows and this, that, and the other."
Yeah.
So I always recommend to take it easy, go slow. You don't want to bombard yourself with all of it all at once because it can be overwhelming. It can overpower you. Now, there's a lot of people in our chat now that are very experienced and understand all that. But for these new ones that are just now seeing these things in their home, take it easy. If you don't want them in your home, best thing to do, ignore them. Don't acknowledge them. Don't say
Yeah,
go
just
away.
ignore them. Like,
Don't
hey,
rebuke
whatever.
them. Just ignore them.
Because this is the true thing.
Mm-hmm.
People like to be, and I'll say people, spirits, they like to be acknowledged. They like to have you give them the time of day.
Mm-hmm.
And you know this, Brandi. You could talk on a personal level with a human being. What frustrates you the most when someone simply ignores you and does not talk to you or
Right.
ignore you? That burns me to a crisp.
Yeah, you just get mad and walk away. You're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Forget it. I'm done
And
with
if you do that to these apparitions or whatever you have going on, they get ticked off and they get frustrated and they will like, let's screw it. I'm gonna move on somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's generally what happens.
In life. Yeah.
But okay, then I'm going to go on to the other side of the coin on this again.
Right
If you can rebuke them, I am not saying don't do that.
That's if you sense
but
this
if
kind
your
of
intent and your belief is not steadfast,
then it's not going to work.
you're going to feed this thing.
Yeah.
And you don't want to do that. I find them treat them like children, ignore them, they will go away eventually.
Yeah. And you can't rebuke anything if what you're rebuking, if your intention is impure of your heart. If are rebuking in the name of the Lord and you don't believe in the Lord, well, guess what? Just like the vampire, you show him the cross, he's going to crush it in your hand. You have to have that in your heart.
Right. You absolutely have to have that belief system, and it has to be a deep-rooted belief system.
Yes.
And that's what I say. I ignore them to the point where I'm like, okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
And I just go about my business. I don't talk to them. I don't acknowledge them. If I see them in a corner, I don't jump. I don't acknowledge a thing.
Yeah.
And eventually they do leave because you're boring.
And I will tell you, not acknowledging anything in life, that human beings that get mad when you don't acknowledge them.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? Spirits were humans at one point.
Yeah.
And they know they have memories. Hey, that's the worst. When somebody ignores me, I get mad.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get furious, but I get
talking to me.
Well, I get a little bit. What? I mean, you're turning your back on me.
You're right.
But it's kind of like a shun, right?
Yeah, you shun them, exactly.
Yeah, and that's kind of frustrating.
Now, BJ said that she did rebuke what she calls her bathroom ghost. And I get that. It's especially because she said it became aggressive. Now that's when you need like the strong faith, the strong help, definitely cleanse the home. You really need to do something. I don't believe in anything that should be in your home that should be aggressive at all. Get rid of it immediately.
Well, yeah, and again, this, Brandi, and for people that not heard this before, about the mist that came down my hallway,
right,
circling around my chair, and the first time I could not fall asleep, and I thought I thought it was sleep paralysis, but I felt this ominous heaviness, and this steam, it seemed like, mist was rolling around my chair, and I was awake watching TV, as I told you many times, and I fell out of his presence, and I did not sleep until I was scared, and I couldn't fall asleep. until the sun rose when this presence left. And so I talked to many people, said it was sleep paralysis, which I've had many times. So I kind of attributed to that. But it was not the weirdest thing because it happened again. And someone had suggested, it might have been you girls. I think it might have been before you guys. But anyway, this happened when it's happened several years ago. And someone suggested, Rob, do you believe in God, or Jesus Christ or whatever you believe? I said, well, yeah. If it ever happens again, start saying the Our Father. And the one night when it happened, it lasted all night long, and I didn't think like that, and I was just petrified and scared, did not know what was happening to me. It happened a couple months later, and as soon as it started happening, Brandi, I just started saying the Our Father, and in less than a minute, it went away.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
so I knew that was something ominous in the house.
No.
Or maybe not ominous, but something that wanted to do with God. And then I went, of course, cleansed my house.
It was something. It was something definitely checking you out. It's like an unwanted pest.
And then I went and got the sage, which I never burnt yet. It's sitting right there. I got the iron rods, but I put it underneath. I did get the iron rods.
Yeah. Iron is, of course, one of the best things to use, especially when you want to keep things out. You could go to Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever hardware store and get the iron nails.
Yeah.
And then once you cleanse your home, as you cleanse a room, then you place them above your door and then move on to the next room, cleanse. And then, but make sure you've got windows open. So this thing has nowhere to go but out. Once you finish your final room into that corner, put your iron nails up. There you go. You're done. It's like, because a lot of people have a tendency to cleanse, but then they don't stop it from coming back in.
You're right.
It's kind of like cleaning your house. You have to continually clean your house because it will eventually get dirty. So you got to keep cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. Same thing.
Yeah. There's no point in skipping steps. You got to follow.
Yes, you have to seal it off. Absolutely.
It's just like we always talk about the alleged Ouija board or anything. Hey, you can anything you open up, if you don't close it, it's not going away. It might go away for the instance, but it's still there lingering, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, you could go as far as cleansing everything out of your house. Then you bury iron at in the corners of the outside of your home.
Sure. Yeah.
And you can do that too, which is like a double sealant. You can do that. Of course, there's always salt in the windowsills, but that eats the varnish. Sometimes you don't want to do that. If you've got, wood there, you don't want to really do that. But iron does the trick. I recommend that 100%. 100%. I will also use like certain stones, tourmaline or something like that to seal. Apache tears, that are just the little tourmaline stones, and then I'll put them around. There's many things to use, but iron is probably going to be about your strongest thing to use, besides, of course, anointing oil or holy water. But again, I have a better feeling about something visual I can see to keep my intent straight.
Oh, there you go. That's a good idea.
Right. So if I do it with like anointing oil or holy water, I can't see that after a while. So I kind of forget about what's happening. It's like you'll let it slip. But if you have that constant reminder, then you stay vigilant. So, I mean, it's strictly up to you and how you want to do that.
But you said a key word, though, that everybody forgets: vigilant. You got to be vigilant about anything in life, really. I mean, anything.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this, especially, you got to be, you can't lax up on it. If you've got things going on, there's a certain vigilance that you can apply depending on your situation.
Yeah. Some people can't handle human ashes in their home.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, it is what it is.
I'm good with it. I don't think anybody's, I
Yeah,
wouldn't want to hang around my ashes. I mean, that was just my vessel. I'm
yeah. I
gone. I'm
mean,
out of
yeah,
there.
hey,
I'm free. So
yeah. I
I'm
mean, hey,
not worried about it. Yeah.
yeah. I'm not creeped out. I know that when my dad passed on, he was cremated. There's an urn with his ashes. Who cares? I mean, not who cares, but it doesn't freak me out. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
I was given a little crucifix. I don't wear jewelry, but there's a little cross I got there's ashes are in that. And you know
Right.
what, Brandi? My mom and dad still have the ashes of Coco, my childhood dog. Coco. They have the ashes. Yes, they do. Coco. Okay.
So,
yeah.
Well,
In a little wine bottle with his little picture on it. They've had it for many years. He died when I was like grown up and gone.
So I have a question for you. What are you gonna do with that eventually?
Me? Oh,
Yeah.
when that day comes, with when it's just me, and I'm by myself. It doesn't bug me. I don't know. I never thought about it.
I thought about stuff like that. I'm like, because of, my past animals and things like that. I'm like, but who's really going to worry about these ashes once I'm gone?
Yeah.
Who's going to worry or take care of them? And I didn't want to leave that burden to anyone else. So I never had that done.
Yeah. I mean, it's just what they did, I guess. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I mean, guys, for so many decades. I mean, I think I had Coco when I was a little kid. I was like 10. I think he died when I was just out of high school,
Mm-hmm.
And they cremated him. It was the saddest day of my mom and dad's life, I can tell you that. It was their first pet. Because we found him, we had a big storm. And all the poor little puppies were disbanded.
And
that's how they even got the dog in the first place.
Mhm.
Yeah. And he lived healthy, good life, I loved the dog at the time. And Coco, I make fun now, Coco. Me and my brother go over and say to my mom, how's Coco? How's Coco? Coco.
Well, I think I've said this before, but I mean, I keep my dad's ashes for a reason, because once my mom passes, she wants to be cremated.
Yeah, well, yes.
And then I'm taking them back to Colorado where they got married.
Yeah.
And they requested I throw them off a cliff.
Yeah.
Right off the mountain. I said, absolutely. And then I'm going to sit down. I'm going to have a Coors Light right there.
Yeah, it's funny because there's certain things like my dad's ashes still have some of them. My mom's still alive, so she's going to be cremated. So she wants me and my brother to combine their ashes and put them at their property up north that they had and put it in
absolutely.
Yeah. So that we're going to do, which is cool. And then even my sister-in-law, whose mom and dad are gone, cremated, and they were both they love Las Vegas. They were 50-year patrons of Vegas, and so there's actually a stone that they had placed in Vegas where they allow you to do this, and they put their ashes there. So yeah, there's some symbolism, and there's something that you can put people to rest where they'd want to go.
Right.
Now, as I made mention, if I ever die, I'm getting cremated when I die. You take my ashes, you can do whatever you want with them.
Well, because what do I care about what happens to the meat sack?
Right.
Which we call our body. You know what I mean? Who cares about the meat sack? Nobody.
Yeah.
It's our soul that our that our friends and family.
And I don't want my skeletal remains 6 feet under getting filled with worms and creepy stuff.
I don't want somebody to. I don't want somebody to build their dream house on top of my body.
That guy discovered in someone's dream home. Oh, who's this? This is BMR's body. Look, there's a bandana around his skull.
Look, it must be Brady. She got on a ball cap. Look, there's a long blonde
Where's that
ponytail.
pirate? Arr, where's this treasure? Arr, it should be buried alongside of her.
Oh, goodness gracious. Woo, what a way to end the show right there, though, Rob.
Yes,
That was a good way. It went full circle, didn't it?
It went full.
All the way from the ghost story, all the way to go ahead and cremate me because I don't want somebody building their dream house on me. Perfect.
Take my body, mateys. Arr, yeah.
Arr.
I talked about Coco, even, for God's sakes. I had fun. Thanks, everybody. I say hi to because I don't have access. Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming in.
Yes, everybody. Thank you for coming and watching us. Make sure you tune in to Bigfoot Michigan Rob tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Central for Into the Bizarre.
Yeah,
but it's going to be story night.
Story night. I'm going solo because all my girls, Brandi, Chris, and Monica, are off doing their thing. 2 investigations for blondes, and Monica's on vacation once again.
Yeah. So if you don't have anything to do tomorrow night and you're near the St. Joseph area in Missouri, you can contact Haunted Souls on their Facebook or their webpage. And we have, I'm not sure, don't quote me, but I think we may have a ticket or 2 left for actually tomorrow night. So make sure you get in touch with them and see if we can fit you in.
Awesome.
All right. Good night, everybody. See you. Well, I'll see you Monday on Texas Front Porch. Rob will see you tomorrow night.
See you tomorrow. All right. Bye-bye. Oh, I got to do that.
Yeah, you got to put
Hello, everybody. Good night. I'm ending it now.
This is the future. Evolution.
The Crossing Realms Conference launches September 19th and 20th and will dock in Richmond, Missouri. This is already being called the event of the year, folks. With an unprecedented list of speakers and special guests, 2 days of cryptids, UFOs, and paranormal presentations, along with a celebrity-filled ghost hunt, meet and greet, gallery reading, vendors, and a film screening. This promises to be both educational and fun. Go to Eventbrite.com to secure your tickets and vendor slots before they are all abducted. They're going fast.